you get a little whoosh from the turbo as well.
Search Auto Trader.
The Honda Civic nameplate has existed since the 1970s and it's been through many shapes and forms such as hatchbacks, coupes, four-door sedans, you name it, the car has been around the block. And we find ourselves here in the 11th generation. Right over here is the Honda Civic RS, and here's our review on it. Okay, let's chat exterior styling for the Honda Civic RS. So styling as a whole, you can see that it's a lot less spaceship looking and radical compared to the previous generation Civic. It's a lot more subtle and a lot more cohesive in my eyes at least. Remember, styling is a subjective thing. But looking at the exterior styling as a whole, you can see that the car is low, it's broad, quite tough looking if you will. And at the same time also, looking at how the large glass expanse with the pulled back A-pillars looks, it gives it sort of a fastback look to it, and it's a very sporty look to it. I quite like the exterior styling for this. You get a cheeky boot spoiler as well, and a dual exit exhaust. It's quite a looker if you will. Look at the color here. This is what Honda calls platinum white. It's a pearl color, and at the same time, you got black contrast such as the mirror caps, the wheels, and as well as the boot spoiler, which adds a nice, cohesive contemporary design to the car. I quite like it. Whew. Let's chat interior styling. There's a jingle. Right off the bat, this is a nice place to be in. I mean, the first thing that sticks out to me in this interior is take a look at the dash, for example. To me at least, it looks like a contemporary musician's apartment. I mean, take the vents here on the dash, for example. It looks like a guitar amplifier, and even the knobs for adjusting the vents, it looks like guitar amplifier switchgear. It's a nice touch, I like it, and it goes across the dash. It's way less radical, but at the same time, it's subtle, it's a good touch. I quite like it. You get the piano black inserts, it's gloss, and you know, generally with something like this, depending on where you place it, it can be a fingerprint magnet. But I think this was smartly placed in this instance, because where your hands usually are, and if you're going to be operating switchgear for this car like the aircon, vents and what have you, you're not really putting your fingerprints there. So, excellent execution, I'll say. You get soft touch materials galore, and at the same time also it's got a premium feel to it. If anything, I'll say it's quite BMW feeling if you ask me. Honda really did go to town at this, I'll say. For the instrument cluster, you get a 10.2-inch LCD display which houses everything like your safety systems, how the vehicle's doing and everything in between. And it is quite good looking. You get a leather wrapped steering wheel with red stitching. Good feel. Up top, you get a sunroof. Center console wise, you get a 9-inch Honda media interface touchscreen infotainment system. Going down, you got physical aircon controls. Further down, you got your gear selector, which is CVT. You also have wireless charging enabled. Nice. As well as 2 USB ports to handle your CarPlay or Android Auto, or even charge your phone on top of that. Further down, you get 2 cup holders, as well as drive mode selector and your parking brake with brake hold. Let's chat about the seats quickly. These are really nice seats. It's leather and suede, and the placement of the suede is quite smart in fact, because it holds you when you're cornering with the vehicle. Good placement. Along with that, for the driver's side at least, it's an 8-way adjustable electric seat. So you can adjust it to your heart's content and get that seat just dialed in right. You're finding me in the back of the Civic RS, and while the front is a party, the rear occupants don't get let out of the celebrations too. Check my driving position here. There's a whole lot of legroom, and the rear also gets the same treatment with the leather seats, leather and suede. Also holds you when you're cornering, and of course, laid back enough so at least on longer journeys, you can sit in comfort. Now, unfortunately, I'm going to have to knock points here for the Civic RS because if you didn't see now, there's not a whole lot of headroom, and that's probably because of the fastback kind of styling. And as a result of that, if you are a taller individual, you might not have a lot of space here, so that's why I have to knock points, unfortunately. But overall, I think this is a really good interior. Very good use of materials, very intuitive and quite ergonomic to boot. It's just, maybe Honda could have actually added a little bit more radicalness here, just to make it stand out a little bit more. As it stands right now, it's very subtle, but at the same time, a little bit more would be nice. Here's the boot. Let's talk about the boot. It's keyless, just a button, slow open so it doesn't whack you in the face. and you're greeted with 495 liters of luggage capacity. How is the form factor? Well, looks like you can fit a bunch of things in here. And this right over here, as the intention might show, I do play a little bit of golf, not that much. Why do I only have one club? You tell me in the comments below. But apart from a golfing tool, this makes for a good measuring stick, because if you can fit a bag of golf clubs, you can fit pretty much anything. I think it's about time to actually drive the Civic RS now. But before that, a quick ad read. Hey, you want to sell your car instantly? Then boy, do I have a tool for you on the autotrader.coza website. All you got to do is go to the Sell My Car tab and you will find Instant Offer. Well, what is Instant Offer exactly, you may be asking? Well, it's in the name. You sell your car instantly and you get an offer. So all you got to do is you fill in your make and model, registration year, mileage, fill in your location, and we handle the rest. What does it feature exactly? You get a free valuation in seconds, and AutoTrader provides a trusted valuation based on live market data. You get your best offer in under 60 minutes. I mean, we take the hassle out of selling, only presenting you with the very best offer. And we come to you. You don't need to drive anywhere. Our esteemed buying partners will come to you anytime, any place. Man, those buying partners are like Swiss watches. They're exact. Clockwork, if you will. And there's no haggling, it's instant payment. You sell your car in hours, not days. When paperwork is super fast and you get paid instantly. I mean, it's in the name, instant offer. So, go and get an obligation-free instant offer today. But that being said, back to the video. Driving the Honda Civic RS. Now, what does RS stand for? No, it does not stand for Rally Sport. No, it does not stand for Road Sport. No, Honda says it stands for Road Sailing. Now, what does Road Sailing stand for exactly? Well, it means it's supposed to be like a comfortable tourer, not really sporty in a sense. Which I find a bit odd because there's a lot of things about this car that scream sporty. If you have not already seen the video, of course. I mean, there's some truth to that road sailing designation. The car is comfortable and it's quiet. On top of that, you also get a 12-speaker Bose sound system with Bose Centerpoint 2 as well as Bose Surround Stage. So you're touring comfortably, quietly, and you got a banging sound system to boot. It works actually. The car screams sporty. You got a 1.5 litre turbo engine producing 131 kilowatts and 240 Newton meters of torque. That's quite pokey. That's all paired to Honda's revised CVT automatic gearbox. Unfortunately, I have to say the CVT box in this car, it lets it down. The reason being is because, look, it's a really pokey engine, and I understand that the purpose of this car is not to be sporty. And I feel this car would really come alive if it had a conventional automatic gearbox. But then when we look at the CVT in isolation, it's actually not a bad box. It's responsive, it's not annoying to drive at open road speeds and all that. It's actually a pretty decent box. It's just the problem is in this car, it doesn't fit this application. But that being said, the car gets up to speed quite nicely. So with this engine and gearbox combination, what fuel economy are you going to get? Well, Honda claims their combined cycle is 6.2 liters per 100 Ks. What have I been getting in this vehicle in my time of driving it? Anywhere between 7.5 and 8.5 liters per 100 Ks, which isn't that bad. In fact, it's okay. You just have to be quite gentle with the car and you're pretty much golden. Now we're going to talk about handling. So how is the suspension in the Honda Civic RS? I think it's really well tuned. The car, like we said, is comfortable. You go on the open road, it's just like riding on a cloud, but at the same time, it's actually really quite agile, as a Civic should be actually. And that, I think, is also due in part to the car having 18-inch wheels, which have a really nice satin black finish to them, and as well as the application of 18-inch Michelin Pilot Sport 4 tires. So this car, on winding roads and even just punting around town, it's nice to throw around. And at the same time also, I feel it's got a nice steering weight to it. Of course, the size of the wheel also helps with that. It's got sporty handling, and it's really comfortable to boot. I like it. So what kind of safety will you find in the Honda Civic RS? Well, apart from the usual safety stuff that you'll find in vehicles of this range, I'm going to list that on screen for your perusal, so you can pause and take a look at that. So one of the standout features you get for safety in the Honda Civic RS is Honda's sensing system. Now, what is that exactly? It's a set of active and passive safety systems, such as adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist, lane change assist on the passenger side, so it helps with your blind spot and all that, as well as you get follow assistance with forward collision emergency braking, and of course you get park distance sensors, a rear reverse camera for that, and it's actually quite a nice intuitive system, and it really doesn't feel intrusive when I drive the car around. I think it's pretty well implemented. So I think we gotta talk pricing competitors. The Honda Civic RS will make your wallet or purse lighter at 669,000 rands. Its competitors at that price range would be the Audi A3 sedan, BMW 2 Series Grand Coupe, and Mercedes-Benz A-Class sedan. Now, it's worth mentioning that those are unspec'd competitors, whilst the Civic here is top of the line, full house actually. Interestingly though, the Mazda 3 would make for a suitable companion with its top of the range model being the 2-litre Astina, priced at 546,300 rands. Would be cool to compare the two, so let us know if you'd like to see that in a future video in the comments below. Alright, I think it's time to conclude. I think the Honda Civic RS is a good car, but there's things that are preventing it from being a great car. And I think it's really small refinements that they can do to make this car really stand out from its competition. For starters, I think we need to do away with the CVT gearbox, for this car at least. It doesn't need a dual clutch transmission to be the most sporty thing on earth. A conventional automatic would be perfectly fine for this. I mean, you even have flappy paddles in its current state for that. So it would work. At the same time also, it will help with the fun to drive dynamics, which is what this vehicle is actually based upon as well. It would add to that. Just to stand out from the rest of its competition, you could inject a little bit more excitement to some of the styling elements. It is a good looking car, don't get me wrong, but it could do with just a little bit more, both interior and exterior. But does this mean that you shouldn't drive this car, give it a chance? No. I think it's a good car that is worth a shot. I can see this appeal to a lot of people, so I'd advise go for a test drive and see if it's for you. There's a lot of things I like about this car, but at the same time, there's small things that could be improved upon. But that's all the time we have for now. Thank you very much for watching. And if you are looking for your own new or used Civic RS, why don't you search autotrader.coza? We got a bunch of cars on the marketplace there. And maybe are you considering selling your current car as well, but instantly? Try out our instant offer tool. But that's it for the moment, and don't forget,
Search AutoTrader.